number 50 of The Real with Mel Highsmith. All right. Be a wild day. Thursday, 8th of October, 2020, in the season of elections. So it's kind of a wild one, and we're going to talk a little bit about the vice presidential debate here in a little bit. But first, I got to get on something else that we covered late last week. You got old Pelosi. She's losing her mind again. I don't know if it's booze, pills, or whatever she's taking, or Botox, or whatever it is. But it's just tearing me up, my friends, and I have to discuss this again. Okay? Democrats are holding an event Friday to discuss the 25th Amendment due to President Donald Trump's COVID-19 diagnosis. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said on Thursday, which is today, I'm getting the stuff firsthand. Anyways, the amendment lays out the succession if the president is incapacitated or deemed unable to carry out his duties in any way. Tomorrow, by the way, come here tomorrow, Pelosi told news reporters on Capitol Hill, we're going to be talking about the 25th Amendment, but not to take attention away from the subject we have right now. When the reporter asked whether she thought it was time to invoke the 25th Amendment or not, Pelosi responded by saying this, I'll talk to you tomorrow about it. Tomorrow. You take me back to my point. Mr. President, when was the last time you had a negative test before you tested positive? This has come from Nancy Pelosi. Why is the White House not telling the country that important fact about how this spread made the hot spot in the White House? This woman has lost her mind. She has lost her mind. Democrats are doing everything they can to rob the American people of this election. And one trying to say that Donald Trump's the hot pot for COVID-19. Well, a lot of people are screaming, how did it get in the White House in the first place? Miss Pelosi. Trump last Friday announced he was diagnosed with COVID-19, which we all know about, or most everybody does know about, okay? Since then, 34 White House staffers and other contacts have tested positive for the novel coronavirus, according to an internal government memo unveiled by ABC News. Trump on Wednesday said he felt great and perfect following the treatment he received at Walter Reed Military Hospital Center over the weekend. He also went on to say he thought it was a blessing from God that he got it. This was a blessing in disguise. I caught it. I heard about this drug, Regeneron. I said, let me take it. It was my suggestion, and it was an incredible way in the way that it worked, he said. Incredible. I think if I didn't catch it, we'd be looking at a whole bunch of different number of other drugs, but it really did a fantastic job, he said. And that drug is Regeneron that Donald Trump said he took. He said now he watched the debate last. Okay, so you got Nancy Pelosi wanting to invoke the 25th Amendment, most likely Article 3 of it, if he's incapacitated. So you can go read the 25th Amendment and look at Article 3, and then I'm more than certain that that's what she's referring to. We've all seen all the videos of Nancy Pelosi where it sounds like she's absolutely smashed, giving her interviews. She can't talk, slurring her words real bad, eyes bloodshot red. She just looks ragged or like she's been on that bottle of vodka too long. So with that said, how can you remove the Speaker of the House if she's incapacitated to do her job? That's right. There's not too many people willing to do that because they're scared. This 4'9" crazy lady. I don't know how tall she is, but I know she's pretty short. Nothing is short people. I love everybody. I don't mean anything bad. But what I'm saying is how can this small in stature lady with a horrible disposition, what it looks like for alcohol, be one to decide the purse strings of America? I mean, just go figure it. Go figure it. So, okay. So, President Trump says he feels good from it. He feels fine. Regeneron did his job. He's back to doing his duties. But that Nancy Pelosi's going to spin this thing and Joe Biden will too, and Kamala Harris in the end, they'll spin it somehow his mind's not working correctly, and we must get him out of there. impeachment. That was a joke, you know what I mean? But I'm sure that's always on their mind. That's all they ever talk about. Can you imagine if they ever talked about doing anything about the American people? Just think about that. If they actually did something for the American people. You know, Donald Trump went down, he wanted to piecemeal another stimulus check, okay? And piecemeal, what I mean by this, they put it on the table, Mnuchin put it on to Nancy Pelosi, which she abruptly said, no. No. And that piecemeal deal was this, the $1,200 for all citizens of the United States. Okay? Nothing for, if you're not a citizen, you don't get anything. That's just what they're saying. So if you have a social security number, you'll get something, in other words. Anyhow, piecemealing that, just that, signing that in the law, everybody gets it. Okay? Help for the airlines. Sign that in law, everybody gets it. Help for small business aids. Sign that in law, everybody gets it. Unemployment, piecemeal that, take it all sub bills, but the Trump administration and the Republicans are still refusing to give the money to the Democratic cities who allowed these rioters and looters from BLM and Antifa to do what they did. I'm in total agreement, that's just my opinion. You could have come down and burned down these Democratic cities, and then you want Trump's base to pay for it. Just think of that. You tell me if that is not a hijacking or whatever. So, will there be any stimulus right now? I don't think so at all. If they get something to go by, and we're just talking about, barely a month to elections, okay? If they get something to go through, I'd be really surprised, because I know the Republicans are going to focus the most on the Supreme Court justice seat. So, but if something does happen, I think it'll be in a piecemeal deal. We'll just see what goes. But as of right now, there is no stimulus checks coming. So for all the people that were throwing all those golden eggs into one basket, hoping that they were going to get another stimulus check right now, that's not going to happen. Could be wrong, because this stuff is wild. Trying to dig through all the videos and all the articles of everything that's going on right now in America to try and find out anything that's of relevance that I can tell you that's coming about the stimulus, okay? It's hard because it changes every single day. I guess on Nancy Pelosi, it's for when the bottle starts full versus empty. But Nancy Pelosi truly cared about the American people. She would agree to the piecemeal deal on the stimulus. Send the money out to the American people. Help the airlines out. Help the small businesses out. Help the unemployed. Everything else, Nancy Pelosi, it can wait till after the year. And that is the truth. So, anyways, so all of us got to watch the Pence-Harris debate last night. I'll say this, not because of the people who participated in it. It was better than the presidential debate, in my opinion, because, but it was still the same old thing that, when I watched the debate last night with Pence and Harris, I heard facts from Pence and the old Democratic playbook, the election playbook of the good old blame game come from Kamala Harris. So I'm going to play a segment from YouTube with some of the highlights from the VP debate, and we'll discuss it a little bit. So let me get in here and get this set up. So it's going to open up with Kamala Harris talking, okay, about how Trump's 100% responsible, or the Trump administration is responsible for the coronavirus pandemic. Although you had Republicans in Chinatown and San Francisco walking hand in hand back in January saying nothing's wrong, when Trump came out and said something is wrong. So it's just the old playing game. So, but here you go. Let's check it out together.
Can you imagine if you knew on January 28th, as opposed to March 13th, what they knew, what you might have done to prepare? They knew, and they covered it up. The president said it was a hoax. They minimized the seriousness of it. The president said, you're on one side of his ledger if you wear a mask, you're on the other side of his ledger if you don't. And in spite of all of that, today they still don't have a plan. They still don't have a plan. Well, Joe Biden does. And our plan is about what we need to do around a national strategy for contact tracing, for testing, for administration of the vaccine, and making sure that it will be free for all. That is the plan that Joe Biden has and that I have, knowing that we have to get a hold of what has been going on, and we need to save our country. And Joe Biden is the best leader to do that, and frankly, this administration has forfeited their right to re-election based on...
Okay, so you talk about Kamala Harris. Here she is. She's just talking about the handling of it. And as I said before the segment, you had all these senators in San Francisco walking through Chinatown saying, look, brothers in arms. And now everything that Trump has done since January, they're saying they could have done a better job. You'll never hear these people talking about the riders and COVID-19. You will never hear them bring it up once. So here's about to come Pence. Pence is going to be given his answer.
Thank you, Senator Harris.
Under President Trump's leadership, Operation Warp Speed, we believe, will have literally tens of millions of doses of vaccine before the end of this year. The reality is, when you look at the Biden plan, it reads an awful lot like what President Trump and I and our task force have been doing every step of the way. I mean, quite frankly, when I look at their plan that talks about advancing testing, creating new PPE, developing a vaccine, it looks a little bit like plagiarism, which is something Joe Biden knows a little bit about. And I think the American people know that.
We learned.
And Vice President Pence was 100% correct. The narrative that Joe Biden and the Kamala Harris campaign have taken, we will take credit for everything that was done by the Trump administration that we deem as good, and then blame them for everything that we faulted on. So that's just one of the sad things. So, but they're going to bend back on. Check this out. You're going to love it. And I want you all to hear it because it was a better debate than the presidential debate, which we're going to talk about at the end of this.
That they knew about it. And then when that was exposed, the vice president said, when asked, well, why didn't y'all tell anybody? He said, because the president wanted people to remain calm.
Yes, normally great leaders, what they do when they have to make decisions, Ms. Harris, is they want their public to stay calm. Because you see, when the media started putting out there was a shortage of toilet paper, and I'm trying not to laugh to talk about that. That's why people made a run on toilet paper. You scare the hell out of people, and they run like stampeding cattle. So good leaders know how to handle their people and to keep them, Ms. Harris, from doing that. But here you go. Here's some more.
Well, let's get...
No, but Susan, this is important.
Susan,
I want to add, but Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking.
I'm
speaking.
Yeah, you can
So
have 15 more seconds, and then we'll give the Vice President
Thank
a
you.
chance to
So I
respond.
want to ask the American people, how calm were you when you were panicked about where you're going to get your next roll of toilet paper? How calm were you when you're...
Did you see that? Did you see that? She brought up the toilet paper. The toilet paper. I can promise it's inconvenience to run out of toilet paper. I'm sure everybody's going to agree with that. But that's the first thing that rolled out of her mouth. American people, let me talk to you. Were you tired when you ran out of toilet paper? This is somebody that has the potentiality to become the president of the United States. And the only thing that she's ever concerned about, right out of her mouth, the first thing out of the gate, is wiping her ass. Excuse my French. I did not mean to say, I mean hindpot.
Kids were sent home from school and you didn't know when they could go back. How calm
Thank
were
you.
you
Thank
when
you,
your
Senator
children
Harris.
couldn't see your parents because you were afraid they could kill them?
The difference here is President Trump and I trust the American people to make choices in the best interest of their health. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris consistently talk about mandates, and not just mandates with the coronavirus, but a government takeover of health care,
Thank you,
the
Vice
Green New
President.
Deal, all government control. We're about freedom and respecting the freedom of the American people.
Let's talk.
If you notice that she gave him, before he started talking, Vice President Pence, the moderator, gave him things. I'm going to give you a chance to give you a rebuttal. And she gave him, about 10 seconds and then cut him off. So I think Pence handled it a lot better. He just sat there and he waited for her to talk and then he just counterpunch her. like a boxer would. So here's some more of everybody's favorite person, Kamala Harris, pleading her case right here.
Talk about respecting the American people. You
Respect
respect the American people when you tell them the truth. You respect the American people when you have the courage
Which we've
to be a
always
leader,
done.
speaking of those things that you may not want people to hear, but they need to hear so they can protect themselves.
That's right, Ms. Harris. The American people has heard enough. We've saw all y'all's little minions running around the big cities, terrorizing people and scaring them, burning down personal property, looting stores, murdering people, shooting people in the head. We can go on and on. Y'all's little minions. So if you want to be truthful, Ms. Harris, y'all are the problem with America. Y'all are the problem with America. And I just have to say that. That's just my opinion on an opinion-based show, but y'all are a problem with America. You're not a solution.
If the Trump administration
you
approves a
go.
vaccine before or after the election, should Americans take it, and would you take it?
If the public health professionals, if Dr. Fauci, if the doctors tell us that we should take it, I'll be the first in line to take it. Absolutely. But if Donald Trump tells us that we should take it, I'm not taking it.
So you figure they would have people on the inside at all these companies that are making the vaccines. But she makes it personal. See, it's personal from these people. They hate Donald Trump. Because you got to understand, just like for Kamala Harris, how she got in office, her palms got greased by some of the slimiest people around. Slimy people who don't care about the Americans at all. They don't care about our children or grandchildren. They don't care about nothing. They just care about robbing our tax money. So she hates Donald Trump that much that she says, if Donald Trump says to take it, I'm not going to take it. It absolutely blows my mind the hate these people have. It's because he busted up their special interests. Here you go, some more.
The
Pence.
fact that you continue to undermine public confidence in a vaccine, if the vaccine emerges during the Trump administration, I think is unconscionable. And Senator, I just ask you, stop playing politics with people's lives. The reality is that we will have a vaccine, we believe, before the end of this year. And it will have the capacity to save countless American lives. And your continuous undermining of confidence in a vaccine is it's just unacceptable.
Joe Biden has been so incredible.
And Vice President Pence was 100% correct on that. You have Kamala Harris and the Joe Biden administration and campaign undermining, of what's going on with this pandemic. We're not going to say that, hey, coronavirus is this or that. I'm not going to say if it's the worst sickness or the easiest one to get over with. But we're just talking about if the president has a vaccine, they're not going to take it. So here's the thing. If there's a vaccine out there and people go and take it, it's your choice, just like it is to wear the mask. It's your choice. Okay? So if a vaccine comes out, I don't want anybody to tell me, it's like, I took the vaccine, so you take it. I'm like, hey, man, here I am. If it kills me, it kills me. But I don't know what's in these vaccines. And I know they're linked to a lot of different stuff. So just saying, that's just my opinion, Mel Highsmith's opinion here on The Real, which is an opinion-based show. But here's more of Miss Kamala Harris.
Transparent, and certainly by contrast, the president has not, both in terms of health records, but also let's look at taxes. We now know because of...
She's about to bring up, and I don't mean to interrupt her because I know y'all love hearing her voice, but she's about to bring up Trump's taxes. Here's the thing. I watched lots and lots of presidential debates. Why is there a focus on Trump's taxes? No one's saying anything about Biden's. No one's saying about Harris's. About nothing. Because Donald Trump was a billionaire when he took office. All these other guys made their money off screwing over the American people. Sorry, some don't like I say, but that is the truth. A total hack job, a coup, and screwing over the American people. But let me give you some more of Kamala Harris.
Great investigative journalism that Donald Trump paid $750 in taxes. When I first heard about it, I literally said, you mean $750,000? And it was like, no, $750. We now know Donald Trump owes and is in debt for $400 million. And just so everyone is clear, when we say in debt, it means you owe money to somebody. And it'd be really good to know who the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief, owes money to, because the American people have a right to know.
And Kamala Harris is correct. Ms. Harris, the American people have to know, have the right to know how much money does the United States owe China? How much money does the United States owe China? Because the Democratic Party has been selling us out for 50 years. So tell me, how much money? We all owe money, Ms. Harris. I owe money on my vehicle. I owe money every single month to my payments. Everybody does. So why are they focusing on Donald Trump? Why don't they take it where they want to follow the money and focus on what's happening with these child traffickers? Follow that money. Why don't they, with that great investigative journalism she was just talking about that led up to this, why don't they trace all the money for BLM? Why don't they do it for Antifa? Why don't they follow Epstein's? Where's his money? And that's the thing. They're not concerned about that because they don't give two flying flips about us American people. So anyways, here's some more of the great Kamala Harris.
What is influencing the president's decisions? And is he making those decisions on the best interest of the American people, of you, or self-interest? So, Susan, I'm glad you asked about transparency, because it has to be across the board. Joe has been incredibly transparent over many, many years. The one thing we all know about Joe, he puts it all out there. He is honest, he is forthright. But Donald Trump, on the other hand, has been about covering up everything.
You know, before I let that go on, she talks about Joe Biden. You know, Joe Biden does his biggest thing he does is he authored a bill that a crime bill that went on and that it wrongfully put hundreds of thousands of African American men in prison. That's one of the high points of Joe Biden's career. Not just the smell of shampoo. Really. I'm not saying that to make it funny. I'm just telling you it's the truth of where it comes from. Okay, so here's some more.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris want to raise taxes. They want to bury our economy under a $2 trillion Green New Deal, which you were one of the original co-sponsors of in the United States Senate. They want to abolish fossil fuels and ban fracking, which would cost hundreds of thousands of American jobs all across the heartland. And Joe Biden wants to go back to the economic surrender to China, that when we took office, half of our international trade deficit was with China alone.
Right there. And I'll leave that video at that point. That's right. Miss Kamala Harris. So you want transparency? There you go. Half of our trade deficits with China. China has become very, very wealthy for a country that don't have much of its own resources, right? From America. They dump their crappy products right here in America because the deal's made by people just like Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. And Kamala Harris was the co-author of AOC's Green New Deal. She was the co-author of it. This garbage thing that is going to shut down all fossil fuels, all fracking, oil, everything instantly. Just like that. These people on the left are absolute flipping lunatics. So it makes you wonder where it all comes from. So, but anyways, we're going to widen down the show again. I just want to bring up, think it's very important to me, hashtag save our children. It's the biggest thing that we can do is give a future for our kids. It's our responsibility. A lot of people says that being a good parent ends when your child's 18. No, it's not. It ends the day you die. You will be a parent till the day you die, whether you're a good one or you're a bad one. Hopefully you're good, my friends, because I love kids. I love the future of our country. We just got to get it there, and we need your help. So Anyhow, if you get a chance, come down and visit me at 2001 North 281 in Marble Falls, Texas, at the original and historic Lakeside Pawn and Jewelry. Or you can visit with one of the greater clerks around here, Jay or Lee. We'll be happy to help you if I'm not around. Well, we do shoot this show, The Real with Mel Highsmith, right out of the middle of the historic and original Lakeside Pawn and Jewelry. It's the home of where you expect our great service. So with that said, I'm going to end this show with a prayer. Okay, here we go. Dear Lord, give us the strength and guide us through this darkness. Dear Lord, protect our children, for the monsters are at the gate. Please give us the strength as we wade through this swamp and darkness called the 2020 elections, and we walk toward the flicker of your light. And in your name, amen. In the Lord's name, amen. You got to love it. You know, I'm very proud to get to do this show. Thank you to my sponsor, Lakeside Pawn and Jewelry, Society Radio, Greater Marble Falls Live Music Society, and most of all, I would like to thank Patrick Devaney and Jet Bob Rodell from Dub Studios for the song This Old Truck. There you go. Remember, God bless America. Peace out, my friends.